Let's proceed. We're going to, let me first say my name is Horace, volunteer in support of our communities. I'm going to read things because it helps discipline me from wandering. Today's forum is hosted by our Communities of Northwest Stokes Foundation. It's a public service. The foundation does not endorse or support any specific candidate or political party. The foundation is a nonprofit charged with financial accountability in support of our communities in Northwest Stokes. A community-driven, all-volunteer, and nonpartisan initiative. All candidates registered with the Stokes County Board of Elections for the offices of the Board of Education and the Board of County Commissioners were invited to participate in this forum. Forum questions were provided to all candidates a week in advance in the forum, and again provided adjustment in their order this afternoon. And the protocol, it's a one-pager, was provided today. It will also be shared with attendees by Jeff, one of our moderators. We trust this forum gives candidates and potential voters in our county a chance to get to know each other better. Since 2014, our communities in Northwest Stokes has been focused on economic development, collaborating with business, county, and the many extraordinary local organizations to plan and build our future. We separately and jointly deploy volunteers and funding to create and enhance needed services, support business, and generate activities of interest to our neighbors and our visitors. We avoid duplication of effort, act within our capacity while stretching our capabilities, and counter actions that could undermine why we chose to live here. When I finish, please join me in thanking a few folks. Our community's organizing group, Sylvia Burton, Catherine Converse, Paula Duggan, and Texie Jessup. Paul Blue, president of our foundation, set the tone and process for forum since the 2018 inception. Paul, back in the thank you. Sylvia Burton, she responded to our call for refreshments with treats we love to eat. Roy Sawyers, back in the corner. Sylvia, are you? There she is. Roy Sawyers for producing videos for each session. His videos allow us to extend the reach of this event. Look for them on social media or search OC space NW space Stokes space YouTube. You can go back and look on that board for the data. If you believe the forums are helpful to you and your neighbors, no matter where you live in rural and urban Stokes, please join us. There's a donation jar in the back. Funds go to our tax-exempt foundation in support of this and other initiatives. Now I'd like to introduce a couple of fellow veterans who will moderate and time manage the sessions. Jeffrey Fry, husband of Veronica, Marine vet, educator, woodworker, farmer, and fabricator supplier of specialty wood to others in his line of work. Nick Watson, husband of Maggie, father of 2 terrific daughters, Army vet, grower of specialty crops, and a highly talented technical problem solver globally and at home. So let me pass this along to Nick, and he is going to give an overview of how the forum is going to work, and then to Jeff, who will review the protocols. And there are pages in the back, and the candidates have them. Thank you. Let's thank the folks that
All right, so this is the Board of County Commissioners. So the forum kind of overlay is we have 6 candidates, 5 participants up here today, 1 incumbent. There are 2 open seats. So for this one, to keep everything on schedule, we've altered this a little bit. So the openings will be 1 minute long to keep the 2-minute responses for each question, and then the closing remarks will be 1 minute. Just like the last forum we had, is I'll start the timer as you start speaking, and then I will hold up the 30-second card, so you got 30-second warning, and then it will be a hard stop. So guess that's it. I guess the last note would be, saving the moan and groan commentary, peanut gallery comments, all that stuff. We can take that online or ultimately, speak with your ballot. And I guess the one thing I missed on the last time is we'd like to thank Horace Stimson for pulling us in this, me and Jeff. So, he caught us in a moment of weakness and we said yes. So I thank you, Horace.
Hey, yours.
And so with that, I'm going to turn this over to Jeff, and we'll try and get this kicked off and stay on the same time frame that we had originally planned. Get everybody home on
the
time.
name of the person not attending on the table being.
I'm Jeff, the question reader. As you're answering the questions, keep an eye over here once in a while to make sure I don't have to interrupt you too often. We went over the protocol earlier. Basically, it's just politeness, like to have phones turned off. Candidates, you keep your phones face down kind of thing, so we're hearing from you, not from your resources. All but one are here, and if you want to exclude that one, they're sitting over there at the table all by itself with all its friends, whoever that person is. So, based on the random drawing, Bobby's going first, and then we're going left, rotating. And Bobby, you get to go first for the first question, the first intro, and the closing remarks. So we have 4 questions, and basically then 7 rounds. And we'll adjust the time accordingly. I think we mentioned that already. So we have the yellow card and the red. Red means stop. And if you don't pay close attention to that, I'll interrupt you politely at first. And I guess with that, Bobby, you can commence introducing yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bobby Adams. I'm a conservative Christian. I'm retired from the U.S. Navy after 20 years of service. 11 of those years were flying hovercraft. I'm married. I have 3 children, 3 grandchildren that are pretty much all over the place. Got 2 of my in-laws that are serving, one in the Army and one in the Navy. And I'm here to hopefully give y'all some answers on where I stand at on the issues that we have for the county commissioner. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tempe Ellis, and I am a stay-at-home mom and a housewife, and I'm also a substitute teacher for Stokes County Schools. I'm married, I have 2 children, one that just recently graduated college and one that is a senior in high school. I'm currently a student myself at the University of North Carolina in Greensboro, studying interdisciplinary studies and leadership program administration. The reason that I'm here is to just let you see me, get to know me, know my face, and to hear, the answers to these questions, and for me to meet you and get to know you and find out what the people of this area are looking for and what their needs are. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mike Fulp. I've lived in this county my entire life. I was born and raised here. I've been in business since I was 19 years old here in Stokes County, starting out with a tire shop, a junkyard, a country store, tubing business. And I tried to run a racetrack for 11 years, and it didn't make it. So the economy got bad, we shut it down, and now I'm looking after my parents, and I'm just glad to be here, and I love the county here and the people in this county. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sonia Cox. I'd like to thank y'all for being here today in attendance, and I would like to thank the communities of I knew I was going to do that. I should have put my glasses on. I would just like to thank y'all for hosting us today and for allowing us to be here to answer these questions. I'm a lifelong resident of Stokes County. I have been a barber for 39 years. Me and my mom run King's Cabin Salon and Day Spa in King, where we've been for 37 years. I attend First Christian Church in King. I'm a born-again Christian, conservative, and my faith is really everything to me. I have 4 kids, 2 of whom live here in the county and 2 who live out of state. and 4 grandchildren and 1 on the way. I've served on the Board of Education for 15 and a half years previously. I'm in my first term as county commissioner, and I would just thank you for having us again.
I'm David Hudson. I'm running for county commissioner. I am not a lifelong Stokes County resident. I moved down with my father when he transferred with Piedmont Airlines in 1972. I attended the Forsyth County School System and Wingate University. I've been married for coming soon 35 years. She's a very patient woman. Throughout my career, I've been in finance roles, 40 years in finance. I've always been able to attain my personal goals when I work for these companies. I bring with me 17 years of accounting and the particular industries, construction and service. So talking about schools, I think I could do a lot of help or give a lot of help there. I do thank y'all for letting me be here today, having this event. And I'd like to give a shout out to our communities of Northwest Stokes County Foundation for their recent award of a $110,000 grant for a mobile food pantry. That is great. Thank you.
All right. The candidates have all had the questions, and there's copies in the back, I understand. So if anyone wants to see those, we're going to just read it the one time and then go around. And since Bobby drew the lucky number, he gets the first question first, followed by the sequence. And that question is, how will you manage the tension between providing services and raising taxes?
The county should be able to manage services for the entire county, including services required for Francisco and the entire community, with careful budgeting to make sure we do not have to raise taxes for the residents. Raising taxes should be a last resort. Careful planning and communications during the budget process will allow the entire team to carefully plan for the future of our county, including communities such as Francisco.
Well, I know as a citizen of this county, it's important to me to know where my tax dollars are going. We all know that things are much more expensive now than they used to be. And the last thing that I believe that any of us need to do is raise taxes on the citizens of our county. That being said, how do we manage those tensions? I believe transparency is very important. I think that one thing that we can do is look for wasteful spending. Are there areas in the county where money's being spent that's not necessary? Excess spending, look for the quote-unquote pork that might be in with things that are in spending. I think that's one thing that's very important. If you find areas where the spending is wasteful, you can cut those areas, and then that money can then be put into other areas of the county. And as I said, the last thing I think that we need to do, the last resort, just like Bobby said, would be raising taxes on anybody in this county.
I, for one, don't like raising taxes. I don't think the elderly people can afford to pay more taxes, or the working class families that's raising the children and can pay more taxes. I think we, you got the elderly choosing from the medicine to electrical bill, paying an electrical bill, and a more burden on them. They're barely making it now. And the young class generation is raising their children. And time they go back forth to work, they don't need no tax increase. We need to trim the fat. We need to look at the budget. And our schools are 1,500 less kids than it was a few years back. But inflation has costed everybody, and I would keep the taxes the same as it is now and just learn how to live with that. Thank you.
I view my role as a county commissioner to be, above anything else, is to be a good steward of the public trust, to act on behalf of the citizens, to protect and wisely use the resources entrusted to us as elected officials, and I believe in looking for ways to cut wasteful spending. We've tried to find ways to do that in the last budget. We met with every department head. We talked to them about, just took a realistic look at their wants versus their needs and where things could be cut. Unfortunately, our county's in the shape that we're in is playing catch up right now because things have been kicked down the road before the previous board, and we basically have been using fund balance to make up the difference, and at some point we have to make adjustments. And I'm all for stretching a dollar as long as it'll go, and keep our tax rate as low as possible, to look for additional revenue streams other than the property tax, because it's just not right to continually keep placing the burden on the backs of the homeowners. A plan that I would like the board to consider if and when we discuss a tax increase again, and I know it's going to sound somewhat unconventional, but it would benefit our elderly and our retirement age citizens, and it would be to not apply any new tax increases to homeowners who are 60 years old or over and have lived on their parcel of land, their property that they live on for 30 years or more. I think it rewards people for their commitment to our county. It helps the elderly, and a staggered plan is what I would like to consider. 1 to 10 years that you've been living there, 10 to 20 years, and it incrementally would come down to where if you've been there for 30 years and you're 60 or older, you would not have to pay property tax at all anymore. So that I would like us to study that and to see how we could make something like that plan work.
Thank you.
As a member of the Board of Commissioners, I think we, above all, have fiscal responsibility to the county and to its citizens. We need to leverage all funding opportunities. We have state and federal opportunities out there every year. We need to know what they are and how we go about getting them. There are manuals out there on how to apply for grants and other funds. We need to manage the budget to the budget at minimum. If we're going over in some areas, we need to find a way of reducing the expenses in other areas. Like Sonia said, cut the fat. When we let contracts, typically over $30,000, from what I understand, has to go out for competitive bid. Well, things are competitive now. People are out there, they want the work. Why not reduce that on occasion to take competitive bids on lesser amounts to ensure that we do hit our budget? We need to pursue improved technologies to actually reduce the cost of government if we can. Other thoughts coming from corporate world, we used to have savings programs, and we would offer incentives to employees that came up with savings ideas, helped us understand how they were going to save the money, and actually prove the point by saving the money. That way, you build you build the teamwork among the team to help save money, keep the county moving in the right direction. I do agree with the fact that we got the 6% occupancy tax. That's for Airbnb, that's for hotels, that type of thing. So our economic development plans should include expanding hospitality. That's money coming from outside the county, coming into the county on a visit to go to our parks, go to Hanging Rock. We can actually benefit from that money without pulling it out of our own taxpayers' pockets. So those are the types of initiatives we need to pursue and as citizens support.
All right, on to question number 2, and Tippy, you're going to start us off with this one, and I'll go ahead and read it for the audience. Mark and Terry Black have gifted 15 acres of land across from the Francisco Fire Department for park development. How do you envision this part of the county being involved with the process of the park's development? Describe what you foresee for our park.
I think the most important thing to note is, what does this community foresee for its park? I mean, what would you like to have? I live in Pine Hall, so I'm 35, 40 minutes from here, and chances of me coming to use the park here are pretty slim. So I don't think that someone in my area should be deciding for you what you want to have. I think that the citizens should be asked, they should be surveyed to see what they want. There should be even maybe a community forum such as this where they have input. I also believe that whatever you decide to do with the park, as far as how you can be involved, is not just by telling the county what you want, but also helping the county to make it happen. If there's someone in this area that has Like if you need grading work, I'm not quite sure what you would need, but someone that maybe owns a business that could do that. Hire local people to take care of whatever it is you're going to put up and whatever it is you're going to build. Don't go to Guilford or Forsyth County or over into Virginia. That's not helping this county. That's not helping this area of the county. Don't get your mama's best friend, second cousin's nephew who lives maybe in a whole nother county just because he's related. That's not helping you. That's helping another county because that's helping someone from another county. So I think that your involvement is the most important thing. Telling them, what do you want? You want a walking trail? You want a picnic shelter? A few years ago, Pine Hall was gifted some land, and a community center was built. The person that gifted the land gifted all the money. Our community center has a gathering place, it has picnic shelters, and it has a doctor's office for the area. And those were things that we needed. So I think the important thing is, what do you need and what do you foresee for your park? And I think that's the most important question to ask.
Well, I'd like to thank Mark and Terry Black for gifting the 15 acres back to the community here. That school was part of this community when it was shut down. It took a lot out of this community. And I don't think it should have been handled like it has been handled, just to give it away. I didn't like that part. I still don't like it because it wasn't the county to give away. It was y'all's, the people here in this community. Y'all the one that paid taxes here. And I think if the county wants to make a good relationship with the people up here, they need to supply the funds for this park. I'm saying it from my heart because that school it means a lot to this community. Any school shut down means a lot. I don't want to see any school shut down, but I know how attendance has fell off with farming. For the last 20 years, farming, it's not much farming going on in Stokes County now. But maybe the county will step up and do the right thing and put y'all something back up here. And again, I'd like to thank Mark and Terry Black for donating the property back. Thank you.
Yes, I too would like to thank the Blacks for the donation. And what I envision is the community of Francisco and the communities of Northwest Stokes would be heavily involved in the process of the park's development. I think that they should drive the development. A park committee should be put together and start brainstorming how to best utilize the property to its maximum potential. The fact that you already have an established 501c3 means that you're ahead of the game up here in regards to applying for available grants and that kind of thing, because there are a lot of grant monies available to 501c3s that the county would not be eligible for, but you as a 501c3 could get. So I envision some type of partnership in that regard, a lot like what we have with the Arts Council and why it is so successful. It is actually a nonprofit, and Eddie is just a master at applying for grants. And I would suggest you put he or Tori Mabe on a joint committee with the county and the communities up here to plan for that park. And as far as what I foresee, I'm truly very excited about the possibilities of what this park could bring to this community. I envision something sustainable for future generations to enjoy, an outdoor pavilion area where you could host outdoor concerts. Our county's very lucky to have such a rich legacy in bluegrass and folk music, and I feel like we could lean heavily into that at this venue. A picnic shelter, you could rent it out to generate more income for the park. A greenway, walking trails, a playground, pickleball courts seem to be huge right now. But I truly think that it could be a collaborative effort between the county and the community, a private-public partnership. Thank you.
I too envision the residents and the donors playing a key role in what it's going to be. I think the county should support you. They should help with the grant applications. Because if you look at the Part F, which is the Parks and Recreation Trust Fund, last year they were awarded $8.5 million. 19 of those projects averaged $447,000 each. They're matching grants, and one in Person County was to convert a farm to a park. So very similar to this over here. As far as the matching grants go, I've been lucky to travel the country with my jobs, and I've seen parks where they had the memorial bricks, the memorial benches, historical points about the city and the county, and that's a great fundraiser. That can actually help you increase the overall funds to make the park even better than what you might envision it today. But most of all, I think it should be something that everyone can enjoy, the children and the children at heart, like the rest of us here. I'm never going to grow up. I want something that everybody can enjoy. And I think whatever we end up with, it should pay thanks to the significance of the gift from the blacks. And I think that you all deserve it, and I would really like to see it happen.
Don't know if this is illegal or not, but if the blacks are listening, I need 15 acres in northern Stokes County. But the best part of being involved with the process of developing a park is getting the community involved to see what they would like to have. If properly developed, the community may have the opportunity to add items to the park that would help bring families to the area, which could possibly attract businesses into this area, bring more income to this part of the county. I would also like to see community involvement to raise money with fundraisers that would allow the community to speak out as to what they would like in the park. I would also like to see the county partner with the community to seek out grants like they have with other parts of the county for design, build, and improve the park. The county has done this with other parts of the county. 15 acres is a large plot of land that can be utilized to bring the community together to enjoy celebrations throughout the year. Example, car shows, music festivals, fundraisers, whatever they could do to raise money for this part of the county.
All right, let's move on to question number 3. And Mike, you'll kick this one off when I'm done reading it. Some residents in the northern side of the county feel like we've fallen by the wayside as far as economic development and delivery of services. How do you address this, and what can be done to encourage us in rural areas?
Well, in 2004, the tobacco program was purchased, and it about shut all farming down for the people. And when tobacco left here, just about everything else left. Your stores, your country stores, your welding shops, people that dealt in equipment, falling by the wayside, because everything, it shut down. And now people's having to travel, if they're a construction worker, they've got to travel to a different area for work. If they're a grading contractor, you can pick up a job here and there, but they're having to travel all over this county for work. And I think this park, the county, if they'll supply the money for a nice park across the road here, I think it would benefit, it'll bring people here and to bring the children from other areas of the county. And, then you can put a store here, a country store and a gas station. But because the people needs the convenience of a Dollar General or something, a gas station or something, because there's nothing here. And I feel for the people here by not having anything, because I lived in Lawsonville, and we could go down to Warner Cove, but Lawsonville got a Dollar General. Pine Hall, we couldn't even buy a bottle of pop in Pine Hall, but now we can. That'd be my start, is get that park going good, and people use it, and then maybe put a store in. First thing I do. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I would venture to say that there are many areas of our county that feel neglected in the area of economic development. The past year, we've had an interim economic development director, and while he's been doing his regular duties as the Arts Council Director. Eddie's done a great job on both fronts, but Eddie is a tremendous asset to our county, by the way, and but what we needed to do as county commissioners, we've got to decide what model we want to use for economic development. There's different ways that can be done. We could hire a full-time person, a part-time person, develop a board of economic development, and that has to kind of be decided first. But I think that the rural areas of our county, especially up here in the northern rural area, lends itself perfectly to agritourism, which fits into the rural charm and agricultural traditions and heritage of our county. We've seen the success of Farm Fest and the Foothills Farm Festival. I think that's a testament to people, I think, really yearn for those days gone by and learn more about how things were done back then. I think the park, as it's developed in an outdoor pavilion, could be a farmer's market on the weekends. The school could become a ag hub where classes could be taught for gardening and canning and that sort of thing. A lot of places are going to what they call a maker space, which people rent out part to do their artisan work, like woodworkers, potters, welders, people who can't afford all the tools they might want for their craft, but they can work in a maker space to do that. Then you could have a market to sell the things that they make. So, I think that would be an idea for this area. I do believe that we should form some type of economic development advisory citizen committee, no matter what we do, to have input.
Thank you.
Because the balance and the charm of this area, you don't want to lose that.
I think economic development really should become an entire county focus. And it should have delegates within the communities in the county. We need a dedicated team, people that have the experience. There's professionals out there that have contacts in industry, hospitality, healthcare, transportation, and other things. We need to make certain that we always have a collaborative spirit in this, and we get buy-in and collaboration between county delegation and the Board of Commissioners. We also need to identify property owners with the willingness to sell or lease, because if we don't have the land to bring a business in, how does that business come in? So we need to identify where we have opportunities to bring companies in to provide jobs also, in addition to the money that the festivals and stuff will bring in that Sonia mentioned. Immediate focus on tourism around Hayden Rock State Park with the occupancy tax and so forth. That is could be somewhat of a quicker win if we could get some places for people to stay close to the park. But any economic development plan must comprise coming together, build common vision, shared fears should be acknowledged and addressed. Staying together, commit to each other and as to what we want to succeed and work together, get it done, growing together. Understand the leadership, participate in the collaborative process, finding opportunities for innovation and incremental successes. We need those little wins that will keep the motivation up. We need the incremental wins so that we can really see the county come forward on the economic development and what it offers to the county, not only from the standpoint of outside revenue dollars, but jobs as well.
No one in our county should ever feel like they are being overlooked, even though they are, especially in these small communities. By looking into a public or private partnership for our economic development group, we can work with other parts of our state and other states to bring more growth into the areas of the county that are struggling. Keep in mind, this has to be controlled, or Stokes County will look like some of these other big cities in our state. No need for a dollar store on every corner. Jobs are available in our county, but most are low-paying jobs. We need to work with companies to bring their businesses into our country or our county that will be local for residents of the smaller parts of the county. We need to look into the infrastructure, especially our rural roads, to make us attractive for companies wanting to bring their company into this area. Most companies look at roads and easy access to a major highway. We need to figure that one out. When looking for a place for a company, they look for that easy access because it saves them money when they're transporting their goods. And that's all I've got.
Well, I can say that I understand exactly what you mean when you say falling by the wayside. And there's lots of other areas in this county that feel the same way. The agricultural tourism, having the festivals, all those things are great ideas. And I have to agree with Bobby about the Dollar General. We just recently got one in Pine Hall, and we jokingly refer to it as the Pine Hall Mall. There's a couple of small, little local-owned businesses that has now taken business away from because they're selling things cheaper than these little small convenience stores can sell them. So that's cost business for those places. So the last thing that I would want to see is Dollar Generals popping up all over our county. That's definitely not something that we need. Definitely, we do need some infrastructure, but I want to. This is a beautiful area of the county. This is my second trip up here recently, and I love it. The scenery is just absolutely gorgeous, and I want this place to keep that rural country charm that it has. So, being able to find ways to bring that in, such as the farm festivals, and I know that. My daughter went to Western, and every year they have Mountain Heritage Day. And that's when they bring in what my girls call the old way of doing things, which is not the old way because I know that way. But it introduces the younger generation to the ways that people used to do things when we had a lot of farms, which we have lost. And I think that would be a great thing to do. And another thing I can tell you is 5 years ago, if you had told me that I'd be sitting in this seat, I would have laughed and told you no way. Get involved. That's one way that I can encourage you. If it's me, if it's anybody sitting here at this table that becomes the county commissioner, if it's needs you have, if there's a question you have, reach out, email, call them, go to the meetings. And if you don't like the way things are going, go to Danbury and file to run. And that's what I did. I just looked, and that's what I saw, and so I said, you know what? I'm going to try to make a difference. So that's one way I can encourage you is to get involved in your county politics.
Thank you. All right, on to question number 4. And this is a final question, but after this, there'll be a closing. That's 2 minutes?
We'll have 1 minute.
We'll add a minute to that, but we'll get there in a second. Question number 4, and Sonia, you'll get this one first. What do you consider the greatest challenge that Stokes County will face in the next 5 years, and what is your plan to deal with it?
Okay. Well, Stokes County has many obstacles to overcome in the next 5 years, and it's hard to focus on just one. Many of these obstacles have to do with a reduction in population, an aging population, a lack of key infrastructure needed for economic development, schools that are aging and in desperate need of renovations and replacement, and all of this ties back to funding and the lack thereof. One thing we're seeing more over in King, where I live, is more homeless in our community. Some of them are homeless veterans. Many of us who have been working the polls have met a homeless veteran that lives in the parking lot at the library. And we don't know how many for sure homeless veterans we have, but that's something I would like us to try to get a number on and find out what we can do to help these people. Many are, in need of medical care and mental health resources. And that's another thing that I would have to say is a top at my list of problems for our county, and that's the lack of mental health resources. I serve on the VIA Health Regional Board, and that's something that we're trying to do is to bring more resources to our county as far as mental health goes. That ties right back into the opioid crisis and the drug problems, and we have a committee working on that right now that's been meeting for 2 years and making recommendations to the county commissioners about how to spend the opioid settlement money. So we're making some headway and some progress in that area, and hopefully you're going to see some progress there for sure. The broadband internet is another thing that we need to continue to expand, and I'm sure is very important into this area, all the underserved and unserved areas as far as that goes. And cell phone coverage is a problem in a lot of areas of our county too. Thank you.
Okay. We've had a lot of discussion around taxes and whether we raise them or not, and I think one of our greatest challenges, going back to the top, is economic development. But how do we fund that effort? And how do we attract employees that will come to work for these companies that we attract? Because if you look at it from 2010 to 2022, the 35 to 49-year-old bracket has dropped from 10,665 people to 7,499. That's a 29.7% reduction of folks that are in the middle of their career, raising their kids, making a long-term home where they are, or they thought they would be. The greater than 65 has gone from 7,632 to 10,390. That's a 36.1% and represents almost 25% of this county. So if you do increase taxes, then you're going to put undue hardship on 25% of our county. You're going to create more problems that social services and other folks will have to help the individuals with. So in my view, we really need to get a grassroots effort on the economic development and start identifying places that we can expand with available land and so forth. But we also don't need to rewrite the book. We need to go to other counties in this state that have been successful at this. Like we could with many of our issues, many of our problems. We could look at counties that started out where we are now and look at where they are, where they are now compared to that. We could pick up a lot of ideas. We don't have to come up with the ideas ourselves. We don't have to invent the wheel. So I fervently think that we should focus on that. Thank you.
I believe one of the greatest challenges that's facing Stokes County is the amount of money coming in compared to the amount of money going out. We've got to figure out how to cut some fat, like everyone else has said, and start putting money where we need it. Bringing in businesses to all parts of the county are vital to the success of the entire county. I also support the new occupancy tax and the addition to bring more revenue in that's not coming from the actual Stokes County residents, unless they're staying in one of these places we need. More sales tax from the businesses coming into the county will help us move forward. Stokes County needs a long-range plan for budgeting that will have to be addressed every year to make it successful. Stokes County has multiple natural resources that attract visitors from all over the USA, and I'm sure from other countries when they come in. Last year, Hanging Rock State Park brought in over 900,000 visitors. You know, we could put up a hotel that looks nice in a place like that, not like the one we've got in King, that we could use and people would want to come and stay there for 3 or 4 days and spend their money in Stokes County. Thank you.
I believe that the greatest challenge that we are going to be facing as a county is losing our citizens. We have an aging population, and then we also have young people that are leaving the county, moving into other counties because of job opportunities. I believe that one thing that we can do is provide educational opportunities. When I graduated high school, the push was a 4-year university education. No one ever talked to me about trade school or technical school. And I think those are important because everybody is going to need, at some point, an electrician or a plumber or a mechanic, someone that does some type of trade. And I think if we provide these young people coming out of our high schools with opportunities to go to a trade school, they can get out of college within 2.5 years, and in all honesty, be making more than most people are making when they come out of a 4-year university. They're staying, hopefully, they'll stay in the county, they'll live in the county, they'll work in the county, they'll start businesses in the county. I think that's one thing that we can do in order to try to offset people moving out of our county. I think, too, that healthcare options are another issue. You know, the hospital, there's some things that's going on with the hospital, and I don't, in all honesty, I really don't know all of the conditions of the hospital. But I know there are things going on, and I know that if we lose that hospital, we're not just losing the hospital, that we're losing a place where there are people in the nursing facility, long-term nursing facility. They'll lose where they live. And there's some satellite clinics of that hospital in other areas in the county. So I think to just trying to get as many of our citizens to stay here as we can and not leave the county, work here, raise their children here, that'll bring money into the county. And then also with the tourism, like Bobby was talking about, Hanging Rock brings a lot of people in. If we had some people with properties that might want to turn them into Airbnbs or bed and breakfast, anything like that where we could bring in more people, but still help the county keep that small town charm that it has, I think would be good options for us.
Well, the greatest challenge we have is aging population, the baby moving population. You know, they're coming of age. It's going to take more medical services and health problems for the people in our community. And we've got another problem with drug addiction and theft in this county. And, you know, it's just going to get worse and worse because drug addiction, you know, it's a lot of it going on with open borders. You know, and people gives up. You know, they can't make ends. These people can't feed their families. They can't pay their bills. And next thing you know, they're on drugs. And more people's becoming dependent for drugs. And then when they can't get money, they go out here and start stealing for it. And we need to allocate money to the sheriff department to protect us. And we need to take the hospital. I know it can't be an operational hospital. It can be an emergency room, or old folks' home or something like that. But we need that hospital for this part of the community here in Lawsonville, Sandy Ridge, and we need to get the right people in the hospital. Because that hospital employs a lot of people in this area that's worked there 30, 40 years, and they don't want to lose their job, but somebody needs to stand up and do the right thing. You know, these other commissioners promised that we had 40 million or 10 million or something, you know, when they ran for election. Then one jumps off the board, the hospital board, and the hospital is worse a shake now than it's been. So I appreciate everybody coming out. And thank you.
All right, this last round is 1 minute to keep things concise. And Bobby, with your lucky straw at the beginning, we'll go with you and one more time around. We'll wrap it up.
Just to finish up on what we did.
Anything that you feel like you haven't said? Conclusions?
I think I've said about everything that I had based on the questions. All of us up here, we're running for 2 seats on the county commissioners, and our purpose is to serve the people of Stokes County. We the people vote in the people, and we expect them to do what we voted them in for. If they're not doing it, then you need to tell us and go ahead and remove us. I'm the type, if elected, this will be the only time my name will be on a ballot. If I do a good enough job and you want me back in, then you'll write me back in 4 years. Thank you.
Well, I think that probably the most important thing that I can tell y'all is, as I stated earlier, I'm a housewife, stay-at-home mom. I'm not a politician, and I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that I'm going to do this, this, and this, because that's one thing I can't stand is when somebody tells me they're going to do something and makes me a promise and then they don't keep it. If elected, I will do the very best I can to represent everyone in this county, because I know that there are areas and there are people who feel like they don't have representation. They don't have someone to stand up for them. They don't have someone that they can talk to and bring their needs and their concerns to. And I want to do that for all of Stokes County and for all of the citizens. Like I said, I'm not going to make these promises because I don't know that I'm not going to stand up here and tell you that I'm going to do these specific things that they say that we're going to do, because I can't promise you. But if elected, I'll work with everyone of the other commissioners, and I'll do my best to represent everybody of Stokes County. And I thank y'all for having me here today, and I'd appreciate your vote. If you haven't already voted, I appreciate your vote on March the 5th. Thank you.
Well, I didn't see that question on here, but, okay. Well, I appreciate everybody coming out. I appreciate your vote, and I want what's good for the people. I don't want no more burdens, no more taxes on y'all guys. We need to trim the fat. We need to look at everything and see if there's any waste, there. But I appreciate y'all coming out and all. Thank you.
I'm going to use part of my time to address one thing that I had down that I got cut off short for, and that thing, that was the hospital. And as some of you know, we've been meeting on that, and there's lots of things that can't talk about yet. But I want to let you know that my own personal opinion is that we need to keep the hospital open, keep it in Danbury, to make it more sustainable, to enhance the services there, and do some things that will keep it there, similar to what we tried 2.5 years ago. But we got against the clock, and we didn't have time to finish what we started there. But I'm just running because I think I can make a difference. I think I can build on the positive direction that the county's going, continue to move us forward. I want to move us forward, but preserve what makes us unique and expressly Stokes County. And being here my whole life, I know how valuable that is to everybody. I can work with the school board if elected, no matter who's elected to the school board. I will work with them with the budget to come up with a plan that we can all agree on. Thanks.
In my 40-year finance career, I actually managed companies as big as $280 million with 731 employees spanning 4 states and the District of Columbia. I come to this because I don't aspire for any higher level in government. I want to help the community. I want to help Stokes County be better than hopefully what they can even realize that they could be. I applaud you all for coming out today. I think it's great to be an informed voter, but I also ask you to be an informed citizen. Go to the website, look at the financial reports for the school board and for the county commissioners. If you have questions, call them. Please attend the meetings if you feel like you have a point that you want to discuss. There is not that, I don't want to keep the board too late at night, but you know what? We need to answer the questions. We need to promote questions and help people understand our community and how to run it. So I would greatly appreciate your vote. And again, I thank you for today.
All right, that concludes the questioning. Horace, you have anything you need to say before we?
Thank you for keeping on time. You can visit back here, even though the refreshments are gone. Our candidates, I hope, are really curious and staying to hear what comments or questions you have. And if not, you're free to go when you want.
Appreciate your time.